Rip-a-doodle-doo and welcome to my YouTube. Today we are doing a Hearthstone game review. It's going to be my first time trying one of these. I'm super excited to try it out. I love this Hearthstone Battlegrounds game mode. It's super fun. So we're just going to be taking a look at some of the gameplay and I'll analyze some of my thought process going through the game. I think I have like 6k, 6.5k elo, so I'm pretty up there, which is good, but I'm not on the leaderboards yet. I need to be at 8k, so first off, we're going to be buying the first minion. There's not that much thought that goes into these for me personally. I think there's a bunch of different thought processes you could use. I do like that one cost that other guy has, the Murloc Tidehunter, whatever his name is. You can sell him and get another free minion, so it's really good if you want to tavern tier up early. But I took the dragon first. He has really good matchups into a lot of the higher level, stronger minions, so he is pretty good early game, and then he also has the benefit of whenever you get him to 3 attack, he gets Divine Shield. So you can see right there, we're just taverning up. And this is one of the ones he has a really good matchup in, right? That's like the best starting minion. It's a 1-1, and then it morphs into a 3-3 after it dies. But luckily, just a 3-3 wins. And so here, we're just taking the gold. We're taking 3 damage to get the gold, and then tavern up early. You could also consider just selling the 3-3 dragon and taverning up, but honestly, I really like the idea of just taking 3 damage, keeping a minion on the board, and it's potentially that you could take less than 3 damage. See here, we get a little bit unlucky, and we actually take more damage because we have a minion, but if he sniped that 1-1, if he sniped something else, or if the guy had some weaker stuff on his board, then it would have been a lot better for us. So here we have an interesting shop, but honestly, there's one choice. We just take the Scourfin, and we took the Scout. Whenever the Scourfin dies, it'll buff the Scout, so we'll have a really strong turn going on in the future. So as you can see here, when we fight this guy, well, this guy has a really good team too, so we end up losing this combat, sadly. But whenever that 4-3 guy dies, you can see that Scout just got buffed, so now we have a 10-10 on the board, I think, because it gives 7+ stats for each, so now we have a really good Scout, so I'm happy with that one. I don't think there's anything else we're supposed to buy here. So this one's an interesting choice. We could take the Phrase Book, which will buff every single time we play a minion, that Scout. So that Scout will summon from our hand with even more stats. Or we can take the increased Death Rattle. So we get a second Death Rattle minion. And then we also, whatever Death Rattle triggers, we get another Death Rattle trigger of that thing. So if that Scourfin dies, we get 14-14. So we need to play 4.5 minions to get the same amount from that Phrase Book on that minion. So I can't remember if it's cards or if it's minions, but either way, it's a lot better to go for that Death Rattle one, so that's why I made that choice. So here, I'm just trying to figure out, hey, should we sell 2 minions to go up to 4? And I do end up making that decision just because we have 2 Scouts in hand. The Scourfin's going to die and buff us even more. And then we've got that extra spell book guy. If that spell guy dies, we're actually pretty happy too. I mean, definitely we want the 14 over the 2 spells, right? I'm talking about that Death Rattle trigger twice. Luckily, we get it on that 14-14, so we're pretty happy about that. But honestly, I'm not too sad about getting 2 Tavern 1 spells. You could get coins and stuff like that, so it's not that terrible to have that trigger twice. But luckily, we get the good trigger. So we get a 14-14 plus now, so we're in a really good spot. So here we have an interesting decision. Ornate Clock, I don't really like it here. Alliance Keychain, I think it's bad here as well. The War Drum's not really doing a lot. I considered the War Drum for a second, but this Explorer Binoculars, I don't see a lot of people go for this one, but honestly, I think it's one of the best ones you can go for. Just because if you're up early, you can get 3-4 like strong minions, Tavern 4 minions, just to go for free. So here I'm considering Lens Case. I could duplicate the Murloc and put it back in my hand, so then it would get a triple, or I can take the Rendell Sticker. And the nice thing about the Rendell Sticker is we get a really good minion that's kind of a set piece for these Murloc ones. So I ended up taking the Rendell Sticker. I think there's a good argument you can make to take the duplicating lens, play the Scout from your hand, and then duplicate it. But we decided not to go for that. I honestly think it's better just to take the set piece. You get a lot of gold. We're not worried about losing combats, and I can find that Scout whenever I want. So I'm going to go ahead and take another one of those. We can get a triple. Again, very important set piece. It summons another minion from your hand. So we're going to get another Scout from our hand onto the board. Our strongest Scout from our hand onto the board. So, but we want to keep a space available on our board too, because we want that Scout to summon from our hand. So we're not going to try to play another minion That's why I'm keeping one less minion on the board. And yeah, we have a really, really strong team. I'm not selling anything here because I do like my minions. I want that Avenge Dragon to trigger too so we can get some extra gold. The Rendell sticker picks up that for us, so we're happy about that too. We can buff some minion in the shop. Not terribly important, but it's nice to have. Here in this combat, you can see we get super lucky. We end up hitting that Death Knight, so then he doesn't get the Reborn, which is super unlucky for him. So we're happy about that, and you can see, look how strong our team is. We have two 24/24s on the board, and we're destroying this guy in the combat. So really happy that I took the binoculars there. I think more people should go binoculars, especially if you're an early leveler like me. I love leveling up early and pushing the advantage, so that's why I did that. And you can see our hand is full of stuff that we all need to play. We got an extra dragon, we got that spell, which will give us another gold. So we're farming economy really well at the same time. And then here we get another Death Phylactery too, and we get another Scour Fin, so that's even better. We're gonna have a super buffed minion. Gonna get that out of the hand. We're gonna play this and get the River Skipper. Of course, River Skipper is the only thing you want to do there because you get two. I'm selling whatever I'm getting there, right? So I want something that's gonna give me extra gold. Since it gives me an extra minion, I summon, and then we get the Flighty Scout double too. So now we're really cooking here. We can just Tavern up. I don't think there's any reason that we need to stay on Tavern 4. I think we're looking for some really, really good Murlocs higher up. So here I'm just considering, hey, what are we supposed to do here? Do we want to sell something? Do we want to just keep refreshing and try to get one of those really good Tavern 5 minions? So I decide to refresh here and find anything too crazy. Want to keep that spot open. So here I make a really interesting decision because we have this Switch Hero Power, which Switch Hero Power, by the way, is one of the best spells that you could get in the game. So I'm like, do I clone my Scour Fin and just get it out of hand and then play that spell thing and get a different hero power? And clone is really, really good. It's very strong, especially late game. But I just decided to get rid of it. I'm like, hey, I could get something really good. I'm going to get a Tavern 6 minion too from getting the gold. I'm just going to get it out of hand and play the tempo play. So that's what I end up doing. And well, we'll see how it pays off. But it gets really, really good for us after we do that. Which, you know, maybe I got lucky on because you could get a bad hero power. And then now you've just wasted it on getting a Scour Fin. But also at the same time, you have to keep in mind, like, I had that double death rattle thing trigger too. So I'm getting a 28/28 on one of my minions. Like, that's really good. That is a very strong tempo. So it makes sense why I would do the cloning thing. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments to see if, you know, if I made the right choice. I think I did here. So we have a decision. We got Holy Mallet, or we got double the stats of your lowest two minions. Holy Mallet's good because we get 2 Divine Shields on board. And I'd much rather have that than have my lowest minions, you know, do slightly more damage. So here we get double time, which is sick. I think late game double time, especially since we're almost on Tavern 6 and we don't really care too much about getting triple rewards. It makes a lot of sense that we'd take it there. So now we get a double of that. We can double this too because of that hero power change. So we get super rewarded for it. Plus you get a gold, so it's not like you get nothing out of it. And I mean, there are tier 6s that we are looking for. It's just they're pretty far out of reach for us at this point, and we're not getting a lot of triples. So this is a good way to generate triples. So right here, we're just refreshing, looking for anything good that we could add to our board. That's going to really take us over the edge. So here I'm kind of considering, like, hey, do I switch out of Murlocs and just go straight for these spells? Because I'm going to get a lot of spells in hand. I have that other Avenge guy. Like, hey, maybe I'm looking for a spell comp, like the Ring Bearer, and I just Ring Bearer and win that way too. Because Scout does start slowing down eventually. So that's why I purchased that. I think there is an argument to be made, like, hey, you should just focus on, you know, your team is really strong already the way it is. So maybe you should just focus on that. But I decided not to do that, and I just was like, hey, I think Ring Bearer is really good, and I'm going to kind of pivot to that a little bit. That's why I bought that. He is a strong minion just to have in general, and we're generating 2 spells every turn anyway, so like we might as well take it there. But you could make the argument that, like, hey, we should use a refresh and buy something that's actually going to support what our current strongest comp is. So again, I love Ring Bearer comp. I think it's super fun, so that's one of the reasons why I was kind of pivoting to that a tiny bit. So this one's really interesting. We get Fishing Rod, we get Nala. We're never going Nala because we don't have that many extra. Nala is really good tempo, right? Every time you cast a spell, you give a friendly minion of every type a different one. So I consider End of Turn effect triggering twice because we do have that spell guy that buffs the spells at the end of turn. And then also we get spells at the end of the turn, so that would be good. But Tidehunter is so fun. I love Tidehunter, and it's free. It was 0 gold too because it's technically considered a pivot, so that's why I decided to go for that, which I think I got rewarded for too, because I do have a scout, so anytime we're killing something, it's getting double the amount of stats that it would normally get. So here I'm just selling out of everything. I'm so strong that I don't have to worry about losing my combats, so I'm just going to sell everything. Here we get the double spell guy. Dragons are really good. That's another reason that I was considering it, is dragons are really good with that guy, that the double time hero power, where it just doubles after you get to 2 minions. They just are really strong golds. So that's something to consider. Here I'm thinking, like, do I take strike oil? Probably not. I don't need strike oil. Oh, and then here I hit something really big. I hit the duo. So that's going to give me a duplicate of my Tidehunter. So I'm just going to sell out of that. That doesn't do anything anymore, right? I'm only getting 7+ from that. That's kind of like a drop in the bucket, so I don't even care about that anymore. And then I just kind of rearrange my team into a position that I like. So the reason I put the Divine Shield first, which it ended up not working here because his strongest minion got killed by it, sadly. But a lot of times with dragons, their strongest minions do have Divine Shields. So I don't want my Tidehunter that's going to steal the stats and give it to my scout. I don't want him to die to a Divine Shield and then never steal the stats because he would technically lose. So here I only get like whatever, a +5, +4 because I end up making that decision, but I think it still ends up being the right decision just because of that. So you can see we're just crushing combats. I mean, we have 124 on the board. No one's beating that, right? Not especially at this stage. I mean, there are teams that could, but if they are, I'm happy that they're beating me because my Tidehunter's probably killing something really strong, giving it to my scout, and then I'll be even stronger than them because the scout doubles stats, right? So, and I got the gold touch, which is nice, so I can gold something in the shop if I want to. And then here our reflective pendant gives us something crazy. So we're gonna take bluegill flippers. That's just gonna boost our Tidehunter and our scout whenever we play a spell. That's just from the anomalous cube, so that'll change next turn anyways, right? So, and we're just going to play the spells out of hand. So obviously having a gold Tidehunter is huge. That's going to be massive stats for us. So basically whenever it kills something, it doubles the stats of whatever it killed and then gives it to the minion in your hand. And then the scout's also doubling the stats. So now I'm getting 4x whatever the stats are of that minion that guy kills. So we're going to be extraordinarily strong just for that reason. And then obviously we have a gold Tidehunter, or whatever his name is, the one that summons minions from your hands. That minion that's second to the right. So we want to be looking for something else that we can have in our hand. We could get another scout, I guess, would be something interesting to have, or something that's has utility, I think. So we're just selling through minions, looking for something stronger, and then here we get an insane pick. We get the Morgler. So the Morgler gets all the stats of minions that are in your hands. And then crazily enough, we also get this too. This is something that we were looking for. We're looking for the double end of turn effect because our duo is going to trigger and give us that minion to the left, which is currently the Tidehunter. And then we're going to double that, so then we're going to get 2 Tidehunters. So we're going to get another golden Tidehunter on the board, which is going to be absolutely insane. And then here, I should probably sell the Scourfin. This is a mistake that I made. Instead, I sold the Ignition Specialist, so I'm missing out on 8 spells. And the reason I did that is because I was worried, and I shouldn't be worried about this, but I was worried that the duo would not only give me 1, because my hand would have 9 things in it, and then I'd get 1 extra thing, which would just be 1 Tidehunter, but I want 2 Tidehunters. But the way the game works is that it does left to right, so I should be getting 2 Tidehunters regardless, and then I only get 7 spells because the max hand space is 10, right? So I shouldn't have sold that. I don't know why. I was thinking, I was like panicking, and I was like, I'd want 2 Tide Oracles or whatever they're called. So I want those no matter what. So yeah, it's a stupid thing to do, and definitely something that I could probably improve on. Just remembering who it's left to right, always. And sometimes I just trip out, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want extra spells. So it's a right concern to have. It's just the ordering is different than that. So. Here we're stealing tons of stats. Our scout will summon with 400 no matter what, so we're going to be in a really good spot. Then that means also our other units get a lot stronger. Sadly, this combat we end up losing. This guy is really, really strong right now. I think it's just early game. I mean, he's got that dragon summoner, so he's summoning 25 dragons just consistently over and over again, and nothing dies on his board. He just keeps reborning everything. Here we hit this, which is unfortunate, so it gets even more damage on us. So, yeah, well, I'm not worried about this. We did steal some stats, which was really, really nice for us. Our scout's even stronger. We do have a double Morgul, so we're going to be putting that down on the board. Here we're just taking the McGurgleton because that's free extra gold. And also something that we need to consider is, hey, are we selling out of Drakari in Upbeat Duo? So right now I haven't made that determination, but we will decide to do that. Just because, okay, we wait around for the Duo again, we get another Tide Hunter, but now we have 3 Tide Hunters on our board, and what is that even doing? Yeah, I know it one-shots a minion, but if he has any Divine Shields, they're just dying. They have no stats. So we're going to be looking for stuff that actually has utility here, that has stats, that has a way of using what we're giving the scout and the other minions in our hands. So I think the right decision is to sell out of the Upbeat Duo kind of ASAP. So here we're just refreshing, just looking for anything. We could consider switching hero powers, but I think there's a lot more value that we can be getting out of these. So we take the staff so we can look for more Murlocs. That's kind of what we're trying to do. Here we're going to take the Chorrel again so that we can keep using those stats from the scout on our hand. We're going to take that guy because we can just discover a minion. So we're going to take the Forager. Probably I should take the Bile Spitter because what I end up doing with this Forager is just leaving in my hand. And if I'm just going to leave a minion in my hand, it's better to have a minion that's going to give poisonous to the other minions. And then I also consider taking the Divine Shield, which we do. And then here I make that decision. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to sell out of these and just get the stats. And definitely we don't want to be losing this combat either, because if we lose this combat, we're going to be in big trouble. So I think I make the right decision. And here we get really lucky because this guy has mega stats, like absolutely insane amount of stats. And we hit a really lucky shot. We could have hit a Divine Shield and we would have been cooked. Luckily, we hit something big, and now we have a 2K just spawned in on the board, just like that. And he's going to sweep up his whole entire board. And we even steal some more stats, put it on the Forager. So there you can see, like, hey, it'd be better if we had a Poisonous minion, right? We would have given Poisonous to something else if that minion got a hit off. So it does suck that we ended up taking the Forager, but I had figured that I was going to be playing him so that I could summon more minions out of my hand. And we just kind of end up leaving him in our hand because it's better to, right? Because we have those 2 minions that steal stats from the minions in your hand. So we don't ever want to play him. It's always going to be better for us. So here we're just going to play that. We have the duplicating lens, so I'm like, do we want to just duplicate that guy? Or what else would we even be looking for with a duplicate? So I'm just going to do that to see, you know, what else would we be looking for. Okay, we can play this silly battle cry and boost our minions a little bit more, so that's what I'm doing. And we're going to get that gold coin too. I do like, this is something that I was thinking about, I do like upgrading those poisonous guys on the left. Like, I think it is good to upgrade them, to give them more stats, because if they can survive a hit, especially from a weak minion, and get another hit off, like, you've gotten so much value out of doing that. So that's the other thing you have to consider, is we want to make sure that we are giving taunts to our other minions, because if we taunt our other minions, that means that our Tide Hunters have a higher chance of hitting something. Those Morgul's at the left, you have a higher chance of hitting something and stealing stats and then giving it to either our scout or our other guy. So we always want those guys to be hitting. So that's the other thing I'm doing here too. You can see I'm going to be playing these bananas on these guys. So there, I'm going to freeze to get the triple. There's not really much of a reason to get the triple of that guy. If I plan on playing him, then yeah, it would make sense, which I could potentially do and just fill my hand with a bunch of poisonous stuff, but there's not really a reason to do that. But we'll just take the triple just because we can, you know. I'm not going to complain about getting a triple, and we're crushing everybody too, so we're not really concerned about losing to anybody yet. And if we are, we can make some steps like, hey, we're going to play this guy, and now we have the triple of him. We're going to play him, we're going to fill him with poisonous minions and Leroy's and whatever else to kill stuff. So here is nice, we're playing a guy that has some stats, so we are able to steal some stats from him. And we're able to kill him too, which is also good. Reduce the competition. We love to see that. You're going to take the Nurglish. There's not really, I mean, 3 stats is a drop in the bucket now. Again, like, that doesn't really do a lot for us. But we're just going to play it anyways. Here I take the gladiator. So this is something that, again, like I was talking about before, you want to make sure that you're taunting everything else so that your poisonous minions are going to be getting hits in this comp. So just going to look for the refresh here. Look for anything else that is going to make our comp stronger. And really the only things that are going to make it stronger are triples of any of those minions that we have already on the board. There's a brand, doesn't really do a lot. We have a taunt, but we already have enough stuff taunted, so we're just going to keep refreshing. And yeah, we don't hit anything, which is expected. I mean, look how much stuff we have in our hand. We have literally everything we could ever want. We have 2 triples of a minion. Oh, we have 2 triples of a lot of minions, which is nice. So here we're playing an undead guy. It sucks that it's a ghost that doesn't have that much stats, but yeah, we're going to steal whatever we can from this guy. He has a couple stuff that's at 100, so that's going to be nice for our minions. And just look at how strong we are. We have a 6k, almost 7k guy. Like, who is beating a 7k guy on this guy's board? Nobody. Not a single person. We have a 3k on the board. Like, there's no possible way he's beating this. And like I said, this comp is really nice because even if he goes scam with Leroy's and stuff like that, like, we can out-scam him. We can do whatever we want because we're always going to have the stat advantage. And we're always going to be summoning stuff like, here you go, oh yeah, summon more crap, like whatever, doesn't matter. We're literally invincible. Just a couple more hits, I'll let this play out, and we do a ton of damage. 24 damage to the ghost. Pretty cool. And then here, obviously the oil can doesn't do anything, right? So we're never taking the oil can. Just checking on who won that combat. Do the recruit a minion, why not? Just play cards. Just sell that. Yeah, it doesn't really do a lot. We're just gonna keep refreshing for anything that's gonna boost us. There we go. We got the other triple. So there's that power of that guy that does that hero power that does the, I keep calling it that guy because it's technically one hero, but we switched hero powers, right? So we got that hero power. Take the back-to-back, why not? Just boost our Tide Hunter and get those +3/+3 or whatever it is from that flippers. Like I said, it is really important to keep those guys alive, give them extra stats. And here we go into another guy that has a ton of stats, right? Look at this guy's board. I mean, he probably smoked, I think he beat the other guy. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he beat the other guy. But it doesn't matter, right? Anytime someone has a stronger board than us and we hit one of their stronger minions, the game's over. We just got even stronger. So we just absolutely smoked him. He got cooked. Took 35 to the head. That's crazy. I feel bad for him. But honestly, we just hit the perfect everything this game. So we're only taking the reflective pendant. We don't need an extra gold. That's kind of useless. We get another Tide Oracle, but again, don't need that. We're just going to sell it. We don't need the scout. We really don't need anything. We're just going to keep refreshing and look for another triple. We only have one more thing that needs to be tripled on our board that could make our board better. We could consider taking that spell, the mutinous spell, and then mutinizing something that we don't want. Like maybe we could mutinize and it would hit the Oracle, which would be really crazy. But we don't end up doing that, and we end up getting the last thing. So now we have an entire board of triples. There's literally nothing we could do to make our board stronger other than mutinizing our forager and getting stronger minions in our hand. And I will just let this combat play out, and you guys can see that we win. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As this plays out and we kill this guy, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will plan on making more of these. And I will see you guys in the next one.